Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. Jesus, we just turn everything over to you for what's most helpful for healing the mind. To see that even the tiniest little twitch is a desired experience. We were talking about this today, how it seems really, in a way, surprising when these energies arise with a big fat no to God. But it's also really inspiring because we can see that every experience that we've had that's flavored the coffee. It's like having a bitter taste in coffee and you just can't get rid of it because it seems so embedded in there. Yet to see that we have divine power to just release that through the miracles given by Jesus as a means. To see that we're not our thoughts and feelings and emotions, but we like them. Consciousness plays in that debris field. So we had a little joke going here that maybe we would make some little products here at the center. One of them was hell relish. Because in English, the word for relish can mean also like little chopped pickles, like a chutney is like a relish. So we just sell some hell relish because then we could be honest about what it is we really, who knows, it could be a popular product. So we'd make all kinds of different relishes. You never know how the Spirit's going to give you assignment, what to do. Like even today, I don't know that it would have been on my list to go out in the back, and there were a bunch of brambles that they cut. That they were so heavy, the bougainvillea, which is a plant that grows here quite abundantly, it was so heavy it was squashing the fence in the back, and so they had moved it. I don't even know how they moved the two of them, put that whole, I mean, it was a massive pile. And they put it right out in the back, and I could hear to move it kind of off the property to the side. So then that meant all of us going as a team, because I have never seen the gardener twitch. I mean it, 8 months. And Tambo has never twitched. He doesn't twitch, but that was a twitch when I said we're gonna move. They're like so zen, you know. Like they're the Zen monks on the location. Tambo and Enrique, I mean, whatever arises, they're just like this. They're so calm, and Tambo's out there, and they'll go out there in the back, and they love collaborating together. And so I said, okay, well, we'll help. And it felt like it's helpful to do group actions. They call it that at Monty Sahajan, group actions. And I could just see how much I wanted to avoid those like the plague. And, but because, you know, you're so in, it's like when you're really seeing that it's helpful, even though you're grumbling, you're still in there. But boy, I could just see yeah, I was looking for every way to get out of it. So the assignment is that we were to mud line this pond with mud, which is really, you know, it could be really fun doing that. And it's very holy to be in collaboration like that. And, you know, you're spreading mud. I mean, you're covered in mud, you're spreading mud to line this pond. And then I could see, oh, I just got to go. Oh, my knee's really bad. You know, it's looking, consciousness looking for a way. I was talking about that with Lori, you know, it was a good reminder, you know, anywhere but here, anywhere but divine light, you know, it's creating the experience of lining that pond. But then, you know, when I went back for to Sahaja like 6 months later. And this thing is, you can't even describe how beautiful it is, because Muji's such an artist and everything he touches is so elegant and wonderful. And it's surrounded by chairs and little meditation haven. You're like a magnet. It's a magnet on that part. You just magnetize to go to it. And it's got all, he loves fish. So it's filled with little koi fish. You know, you just see how you don't want to be, the consciousness wants to go off and do its own thing. I'm done with this. I got to go. Like, what we don't see is the hell that even when you would crawl up out of that pond and seemingly needed to go somewhere else, the ego goes, oh, I'm safe from that one. But we're really, hell is hanging on. You know, and then to go out there today and then just be, okay, Jesus, this is the assignment, you know, like you just start trusting him so much that it could be anything that he sends you. And then you're just kind of at peace. Okay. What are we doing next? Okay. I'm lifting, you know, however it plays. Okay. We're going to all go out there and move brambles, and then Tambo and Enrique, they show up and they start moving. And I mean, that pile, wouldn't you say that thing was 7 or 8 feet high, wasn't it? 7 feet at least. A pile of brambles. We thought the tree was going to catch on fire. There's a big, huge tree. Hey, and Enrique's going, no, it won't catch on fire. And then they went out there and burned the whole, this huge, it was crazy pile. But it didn't take us that long, really, to move like this huge pile of stuff. It's whatever the assignment is, to watch the mind, to see, okay, do I want to be anywhere else but here? Do I want to be, am I planning anything while I'm out here? No, there were no plans. There was picking up brambles, moving them. We're going to move them from here to there. It's like, Jesus, you got any cabbages for me to bury today? Just bury them. And you'll take care of the rest. You can ask them, you know. It's like one moment of thinking we can plan something. Is that death, Jesus? Let's ask them. But I could just see, oh, one of those would go up on the board for a group action. And then after a while, you fell in love with them. What a conversion. Like they became precious. Like one of the ones was that this wasn't feeling so precious, but I was telling Lori about that one too, where, so Sahaja is, you know, it's very hilly and you got all these hills, Monte Sahaja, and you do feel so blessed. You just, it's really an honor to be on that land, because so many beings want to come and they can only fit so many. And anyway, they got these little roads that go up. They drive around a little golf carts. Well, they have the Sahaja dust. And it is this brown powder that sticks immediately to everything. So all your clothes is stained by Sahaja. I probably have some on this. I wouldn't be surprised if I find some Sahaja dust on it. And so the assignment came down, you're going to sweep that dust off the road. Like it's, you go, you know, you're just going, okay, but you trust, see, because you're with the master. And so you go, okay, I'm just going to trust and I'm going to do it. And you just go, but you're thinking the whole time, how can I get out of this? That's how the ego plays. See, I can't wait for this to be over. That is the play of hell in consciousness right there. But at least we can start seeing it. And then when you saw what they did, because there are miles of roads on that property, probably, I don't know, maybe 80 or 100 acres there. So there's a goodly amount of roads going up in those hills and you're sweeping them. And then they put this white powder, more than powder, is very fine, ultra fine gravel. And then you saw what it looked like. It was like, wow, who thought of this? Really amazing. But that you can watch your mind. That's why we watch our minds, to see the mind. There's not more than one mind. To see where the play is like that, to not want to be with our brothers, not want to collaborate, want to be off by ourselves somewhere. Do anything except collaborate. And chapter 20, that's the other big avoid. Ask Jesus, you gotta not want to look at chapter 1. No. I don't want to look. And it's going to do everything to try to divert looking. You'll hear from somebody that you went to kindergarten with, thinking that's going to be urgent that day. I'm not saying it bad. It might be an assignment, but chances, you just watch it. I mean, it's innocence playing. It's just delay. You just see the play of delay. I think I have something to do. I don't think I can listen to these light circles anymore. I gotta go. It's a little bit of a fire to go through, look at our own stuff. You think there's that catacomb. Look into the catacombs down there and see where Jesus is going. Okay, there's that phone there, and it's like, man, Jesus, there's all kinds of stuff down in these catacombs. You come up, holy smokes, I don't want a light. I want to kill that light so dead. If I ever hear about light again, I'm just I don't want anything to do with it. But then you're getting somewhere. When it's actually right here, just going, oh, I know I just do not want it. That's honesty of God. And that is the tiniest twitch. You can ask him. Jesus is the tiniest twitch. Death to light. That's why I love what he's talking about, thorough nature of the Course. Yes, there are many ways that you can just contemplate divinity long enough. You'll see that's all there is. But the thorough nature, of the complete falling away of identity, the Course is going to show every little, and you start to really appreciate the brothers who've gone before that have dedicated to this deep looking. Because you see how much dedication it really takes. So the question is, are we like the L'Oreal commercial going, we're worth it? We're worth that deep looking. And going into the catacombs and just seeing where this play that's been showing up all of our lives. And as I said, I think I talked about it before, I could see that play, like something would be upsetting. And it's like, this is the first time this has ever happened. This has never happened before. That was just not in the honesty of God playing. But it's part of the delusion to think it's just about this situation right here, until we really start looking and saying, it has nothing to do with this situation right here. This has been a desired experience since I was 2. I was 2 years old. I barely hatched, and I was looking for, I think I told that story. I knew that I came into the world screaming, I don't want to be here. I was really ripping mad about being in the world. But that ripping mad about being in the world continued, until we really look and see, okay, I had a desired experience to create a world, and then be ripping mad to deny that I like it. Like it's a love-hate relationship to deny that the ego doesn't know what the love is. to hide from love. We think attack is love. Jesus, do I have a desire for an experience that attack is love? I can get heaven and peace through it. It's really helpful to see that. How we think what's down there in the catacombs is going to bring us heaven. Meanwhile, we've been living in hell. But it's helpful because you can ask him. He will take you to seeing that so directly so that it just burns in the light of truth, the possibility of that. But if that desire remains, whatever desire it is, desire for attack, if that remains below the level of awareness, one smidgen of it, with the slightest little belief that it somehow brings peace or safety, some little treasure in it, then it'll keep getting experienced and we'll keep going. I just don't know why this keeps showing up. Because we relish it. It's still a little relishing. It hasn't been fully released to the miracles. That's why he's being so direct of saying, this is what the desire is. When we're willing to listen, sometimes we're not willing to listen. And it was a good question because Lori was asking, well, so I'm going to ask him now. He can just tell us. Why can't we just go to the belief? You can. But this is a new means. He's reminding me, this is a new means given by me to go so directly to the desired experience. You know, there's no limit, whatever we would be willing to look at with him. But beliefs, and you can look at them, then we forgive them. You just see, there's just a plethora of them. And in NLP, when we're neuro-linguistic programming, which was, I don't know, this came outside of consciousness. He said, yes, you know, because it's such a powerful means to look directly at the miscreation of beliefs. And, you know, it was really mind training for me to see the miscreation through beliefs, and had a lot of training on with Jesus. He's saying, you know, to look at beliefs and that beliefs aren't true and that beliefs can be cleared. Consciousness. There's a thing in NLP called, you go to start looking at beliefs and you work through all the beliefs. And for many beings, it would be, okay, that's it, I'm done. You know, they just never went back to the old pattern again. It was completely deconstructed through releasing all the beliefs. Then in NLP, they'd say a certain percentage of beings will have something called secondary gain, meaning that whatever that pattern was appearing in consciousness, whatever beliefs there is a belief below it that there's a benefit to keeping the pattern in play. And that's what Jesus is teaching us. He's teaching us about secondary gain. The secondary, why these things persist, is there's a belief, that's a deep belief, that heaven is in that experience. Love is in the experience. Love can be gotten. And you could see that when, you know, in working with beliefs, that there would always, with a persistent pattern, love. I didn't connect it. I didn't see what Jesus, now I'm so much more clear on it because he's made it so much clearer. But you could always, it would always go, when you looked at it deeply, it would always go to love being behind that. Whatever, didn't matter was, it was, I don't know, I forget what it's called, but I think I've talked about it. Like a friend came to me and she said, this was really helpful. I could see how this was helpful because I didn't have any limits. There were no limits with beliefs. I knew beliefs, everything's a belief at that point. And she said, you know, I have this thing where if somebody that there's like a medical term for it. Somebody just clinks their glass with a fork. I would just go totally off the rails. She said, I just get so mad. Like, I can't take it. The tiniest, like, even if your teeth, if somebody sit next to her, their teeth would hit the glass. You think, and like that. And so it was helpful for me to look at the structure, because I was fascinated. See, then it was a curiosity. Okay, how are these beliefs occurring and happening in consciousness? And we just started looking together. And when she took it back, it was like when she was a little kid, 4 or 5, because like you start seeing that there's belief that love can be gotten behind every behavior. That's the salvation Jesus is talking about. We took it all the way back and looked at it. She realized when she was about 4 or 5, her parents would argue. And then, so the way she could control that was then she could have this little play in consciousness of freaking out over the clinking of glasses. See, they clink the glasses, and she'd go, I can't take that. And it would totally stop the argument, because see, and so she totally associated the experience of this clinking glass with love. When she looked at it, she realized, it's like, holy smokes, I totally linked that to love. That was instructive for me, to see how consciousness plays to link certain behaviors, certain experiences in consciousness, and link them to belief that love, it was really control. So you get control. But the play is that's when you really look at it underneath, there's some kind of belief about peace can be gotten or love can be gotten. That's what he's talking about when he's saying you believe that salvation can be gotten out of this behavior. But it's not the behavior, it's below behavior. Behavior expresses out of all the beliefs in the subconscious mind. Through the desire to have an experience. I was just so locked down and so used to going into a trance. It's a trance. You just start the stories, like bloom out, and then we're in a trance, the trance that nothing's here other than that story and that, trying to get the clinking to stop. And then it gets buried in the subconscious mind. And like, where's that from? I don't understand it. Why is it that I want to kill my husband every time? Every time it's like nobody could go into the kitchen hardly and put a fork down on a plate, because she'd go straight up. But that's what we're doing all the time with all kinds, because it's a desired experience. Because in truth, it happened, we think it's, well, this is how consciousness plays. It's going to tell a story. Okay, when I was 5, or one of the plays here is when I was 4, my grandfather hit me, and so then I didn't trust him after that. But see, the trusting and the not trusting happened way before being 4. It was a decision to come and express in consciousness and have an experience like that. And then that's what shows up. So as when we start examining all the experiences in our life, it is totally dishonest to say that those patterns weren't there all along. But even when we're aware of them, we'll see how much they're really, really relished more than God. Yet then when we see that, how much they really, and we're not aware of the patterns, you're not even aware of them until you transcend them. That's why you need Jesus to show you. That's why we need, or if you have a trusted mighty, where you ask, like David, you can ask, but he'll tell you he will not say anything unless somebody asks him. Then they'll tell you, okay, you want to know where that pattern's running? I'll tell you. And we need that. It's very helpful. or sit in these joining sessions, it's not, because it's not for another. You start to see it's just divine expression. It's just true helpfulness. So it's not judging. It's just, I don't know, it's somehow it's true helpfulness. It serves the whole. But, because our purpose in joining is not to fix a brother. See, that's why Jesus is very clear, do not correct your brother. It's not your function to correct your brother. Because the ego loves to do that kind of thing, to hide from looking this way, look within. And so that's why we only express what Jesus tells us to express. Because then it's pure, it's coming out of the infinite, and it's divine expression. It's infinite light expressing. So he's really reminding me to say for everyone to look at any kind of avoidance on looking at chapter 20 and really dive in with him. And really trust that you can hear his voice and he will direct you through it, and to follow the instructions that he gave on it. Only that, no extras. It is such a deep way of hearing his voice. I'm asking if we'll have another joining session on it. That feels really beautiful to hear the beings come together to share their experiences talking to Jesus through the chapter. And now that we have it in Spanish, we're inviting our Spanish brothers who speak Spanish to join and let us help you find a partner. And then you can be helped by Daira or Lena on your first session. They'll help you kind of get ramped up. But you'll hear really immediately that you can hear Jesus. It's not a problem to hear Jesus. The problem is not wanting to hear is not wanting to hear what he has to say about chapter 20. And to uncover out of the catacombs all the little but you'll see you can't, as he says in the last, it's so striking at the end of chapter 20. If you want to jump ahead in chapter 20 and read the last paragraph. Let's read it. I like it. Okay, Jesus, see if I can find it here. And when you look at chapter 20, if you just happen to read it, remember it's not for discussion, it's only for contemplation. So I'll go back here. Right, I'm going to the end of chapter 20. Oh, okay, yeah, and he's reminding me too, we could probably go through. Have we actually gone through the terms? We have gone through the terms, haven't we? I think we did. Might be good to go through those again. Okay, here we go. Who with this many desires to deny himself could ever rest in peace? And when you sit down and go through chapter 20 with them, and you just, you could see that you were never at peace, ever. Not a smidgen of it, not the tiniest little scrap of it. But you don't, in the play, before we really start this deep looking, we're totally in the denial. We're accepting these little scrap moments of peace. And we're living those, like he said, the script of your experience being written by every subconscious desire below your level of awareness. It just writes the script, and then it's going to be a storyline, a guaranteed storyline of attack, feeling like somebody's coming after you, because it's a desired experience until that's fully looked at and cleared. So yeah, he's pointing to, so let him take you down, and just see that wanting, that itch. And it takes a couple of rounds. So even if this doesn't, yeah, he says, say it. And I've said it before, you may just need to start chapter 20, because you'll see how deep you're able to look by about page 3 or 4. How much deeper, how much more refinement in the ability to hear his voice and see where you don't really want to go deeper. Who with this many desires to deny himself could ever rest in peace? Would you not give them to me, to the light of truth, and find that you eternally rest in the peace granted you by the Father? And we can see it's just abjectly impossible to rest in peace with these little catacombs. I love that word because it's so descriptive of all the little hidden bones and pockets, all the ways we relish the experience of having heaven ripped out from underneath us. Jesus, do I have a desire to have an experience for heaven ripped out from underneath me? Do I just relish it when my brother comes up and then I get heaven ripped? See, we don't think about it that way. We're so sure our brother's doing something to us, rather than really reflecting our deepest prayer for hell. Hell relish. It's a helpful reminder. So you can ask them as you're having that relationship with them, okay, Jesus, I'm willing to go all the way and just show me the death wish. Go ahead. I'm willing to see it. And show me where any kind of secondary gain is. Where am I treating this like it's a little jewel on the crown? Where am I pretending that it's this belief structure, these desires, there's heaven? Because when it goes fully into the light, that's the full acceptance of the miracle. And then it can't crop up on the timeline anymore. These are the many of the beliefs and thus desired experience you would hold against your Father and thus deny yourself, being always one with him. Who with this many desires to deny himself could ever rest in peace? Would you not give them to me, to the light of truth, and find that you eternally rest in the peace granted you by the Father? In this is a forgiven world without end. Amen. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. And thus you would crucify God if you could, for all the desired experience to deny yourself the kingdom within that knows not crucifixion. This is the last belief, actually. You believe the crucifixion is real. Thus you desire an experience of crucifixion. Jesus, do I relish crucifying myself? Is there any energy around that? I'd just check in. This desire will lead you to an experience in which you either crucify yourself or your brother as yourself, all being one with the Father. And thus you would crucify God if you could, all for desired experience to deny yourself the kingdom within that knows not crucifixion. I'm just checking in to see if there are any little remnants in there. It's really helpful. Any little relishing of self-crucifixion. Thank you for bringing all the ways I might crucify myself, Jesus, from the light. And thank you for bringing brothers that we can join with. Keep jumping the joins. Just join as much as you can. He says, yes, it's just helpful. Keep that joining group alive. Or if it's the Spanish group, keep that group alive. So you can see you're there for each other. And I know Dyra's translated the joining and like worksheet into Spanish. She's also translated the chapter 20 instructions in Spanish. So both those are available for clearing denials. And if you have questions about those, you can send it to us and we'll try and we'll support you because we know it's for us. Thank you for coming. We love you.